Well, we keep getting closer and closer to D-Day. Friday, March 14th, the NAIA National Tournament kicks off. I hope you got your plans made, your popcorn ready to go. It's going to be amazing. Hey, today we're going to have Chris Wright, and Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. You know, Chris Wright made a lot of waves when he went over to Langston. He really turned that program around. They came within an eyelash last season. They got beat in the last minute by Freed Hardeman. They came back hungry this year. The team hasn't been quite as dominant. They've went through a lot of issues. Coach is going to talk about that. But they're right back where they want to be. They're hosting the first two rounds there at Langston. They were able to host the Sooner tournament as well, which I think has helped them out a little bit. But they're going to be tough to beat at home there during this first couple of rounds. Let's take a listen to Coach Chris Wright, Langston Lions. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I got Chris Wright. He's the head men's basketball coach, the Langston Lions. How you doing, Coach?
Billy D. We survived the regular season, man. So we're here. We're here.
When I answered the phone, I asked Coach if he had his nitro pills in his hand. Wow, what a season. Some close games all year, a number of close games. But you know what? You guys have won the majority of them. There's a couple that people got you on the last second shot, but you won most of them. Just talk about your team and where you're at right now.
Yeah, I think we've been spoiled the last few years, not playing the many close games. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like this year about every night was a 1 or 2 possession game down the stretch. And so, I think for us, obviously being ranked preseason number 1 in the country, which, I've said a lot, I don't think this team ever deserved. We had a whole new team. But yeah, it was a frustrating year, a lot of the year. We started poor, lost a couple of games that, we necessarily didn't feel like we should drop. So we're 4-2. And then, we went 11 straight. So we're sitting at 15-2. And, we get drilled at MACU. And our whole team gets the flu. And, all of a sudden we're 15-5 and go from having a 2-game lead in our conference to being right bunched in the middle of the pack. And so, with three weeks left in the season, I didn't even know if we were going to be in the national tournament. So for us to win these last 6 games and do what we've done down the stretch, I'm really proud of our guys. We just faced a lot of adversity with, from injuries to, our starting point guard hasn't practiced since October. And so, when you look at some of the factors that we couldn't control, and then when you look at some of the factors where we just haven't been playing our best basketball, it's amazing. We're 24-7 and kind of where we are today.
Isn't a big piece of that, though, is the Sooner this season. You and I were talking just before we started. You could have, one game one way or another, you could go from 2nd to 6th. It was that tight. It was, and Central Christian, who was a 7 seed, one of the better teams in the country. The Sooner was tough this season. A lot of parity.
It really was. Top to bottom, not a whole lot of difference in a lot of teams. Going on the road, looking at it, you didn't ever feel good no matter who you were playing. And then when you look at us, we've only lost 2 home games since being here, and we lost to our 8th place team and 12th place team at home. And so, just really goes to show you that anyone can beat you on any night. I think the league's extremely well coached. I feel like, a lot of programs in our league have went out and gotten more transfers and have gotten older and kind of have built their rosters, similar to ours. And so, yeah, this year was an absolute grind going through the Sooner.
Coach, one thing you've really built in your time there is a amazing home court advantage. You went 13-2 there. And you and I were just talking. I thought that was huge to get that first game there at Marcus Haynes Court. Talk about your home court advantage, the way your fans turn out, just the support you've been getting.
Yeah, it's a great small college atmosphere. So I think we're 46-2 since taking over the program at home. It's just a place our guys are extremely comfortable in. We get great crowds and we play with a lot of energy at home. And so, yeah, I think anytime you get to host in the national tournament, it's huge. And so, yeah, hey, we're excited about being able to play, hopefully, 2 more games in front of our fans at home.
I think one guy that I want to ask you about is Bryce Monroe down the stretch, down the stretch and through the conference tournament. He just wouldn't let you lose. I don't remember what games I was watching, but every time you needed to score, he'd get to the rim and he'd score. Every time. Just talk about him and his competitiveness. And he doesn't miss free throws either, and he's only a 70% free throw shooter. But when the game's on the line, he doesn't miss.
Yeah, I mean, our first round of the conference tournament, we played Central Christian at home, and they're really good. They're really well coached, and yeah, down the stretch, I mean, I think he had 32 points in the second half. Hit 2 big free throws to send us to overtime, and his will to win is special. Most people don't know how hurt he's been all year. Again, has a severe case of Achilles tendonitis, right? What Christian McCaffrey had.
Okay.
And so he has not been able to literally practice one time since we've started playing games, and that's not an exaggeration. And then he breaks his ribs, or breaks 2 ribs at UNT Dallas, and kind of wills us to an overtime victory there. And we go beat Nelson on the road with the tip in at the buzzer in a game that he was huge in. And so, yeah, I mean, if I think our record without him is 1-4, and our record, with him is 23-3. So quite a bit difference when we have him and when we don't.
The one thing you guys have done all season is you defend, but I think your rebounding is what's carried you. I'm a stats guy. You out rebound teams by about 8 a game. And the reason I looked at this, Coach, I go, crap, they have like 200 more possessions than their opponents over the season. It's got to be the rebounding. So when you're struggling offensively, your defense and rebounding has really carried you.
It has. I think, especially early in the season, we were hammering people in the offensive glass, and it really kind of carried us through a difficult stretch. Defensively, I'm not very thrilled with how we've guarded. I mean, we defended spurt. I think teams are shooting like 41.7% from the field on us, and that's as high as teams have shot, on our teams in a long time. And so when we do really pressure the ball and defend, I think we have a chance to beat anybody. And when we don't, we're very average.
Yeah. Well, I know defense is your gig. I still think you're a good defensive team, but you haven't been happy?
No. And again, you see it in spurts. When we really defend, we put halves together, stretches together when we defend how we're capable of. But there's a lot of stretches that, that we don't. And so, I think that's another reason for kind of our inconsistency throughout the year.
Well, talk about stretches. Just talk about this Sooner Conference tournament. You get the 3-point win over Central Christian, and then Mac U's coming to town. You beat them by 5. And then you got Nelson coming to town. You beat them by 3. 3 huge games, very close games, very competitive games. But I thought your guys really showed out during that tournament.
There were some gutty wins. I was proud of our guys to be in 3, close 1-possession games that really could have went either way. I think we were fortunate to win the Central Christian game. And then the other 2 games were just absolute wars against really well-coached teams. And so, yeah, for us, and obviously it helped being at home, right? That was huge for us. So, I think that we've been in about every close situation that you can be in one season. So I feel like, whatever lies before us in the national tournament, we've probably seen and hopefully we'll be ready for.
Well, we're entering Chris Wright territory here. You're going into the NAIA national tournament. You're no stranger to that. You're getting your team ready. Mentally, it's one thing physically, you get guys ready, they can shoot, they can rebound, they can do all these things. Mentally, where do you want your guys to be right now?
I really liked the way that we prepared for the conference tournament. I thought our team matured a little bit. I thought we, grew up and and really brought a great focus to how we prepared every day. And so more than anything, that's what I want to see from our guys right now. And again, I think when we do those things, we have a chance to be really good and can beat anyone. But when we don't do those things, we're very vulnerable, and anybody can beat us. And we've seen that throughout the course of the season. So, I think our guys are playing with a lot of confidence right now. I think we're finally shooting the ball better, as a whole. And so, I don't feel like we have anything to lose right now as we go into to the national tournament.
So you got a 13 seed coming, St. Mary. They might be a 13 seed, but they're tough. There for a while, it looked like they were going to win the KCAC. I know you've looked at hours of film on them. What do you see with St. Mary?
Yeah, I mean, they really, really shoot the basketball. Don't necessarily have a true big, so they really try to spread you out. And, they have some guys that definitely pose mismatch problems for us. So we're really going to have to, get back in transition, guard the ball, to try to take away the 3-point line from them. But yeah, I think they've won 7 in a row. Obviously won the KCAC tournament, and so Coach Brown does a good job, and I know they're going to be ready to go.
Coach, what does it mean to you and to Langston University to get to host those first 2 rounds? That's a big deal.
It is for a couple of reasons, I think, Billy D. One, obviously the numbers show that if you host opening round games, that your chances of going to Kansas City are considerably higher than teams that don't, right? So that's number one. Secondly, it means a lot to our community, right? Just because, other than Talladega, I think we are the only HBCU since the merger that's been able to host opening round games. And so that's something that, our athletic department does a great job of running a good site. And again, we, get a lot of support for basketball at our school. So it's pretty special.
Before I let you go, you talked about the support you get for basketball. What about that women's team there? Man, they're good.
And hey, they are. I'm really proud of Coach Vincent. Obviously, we got a chance to work together. The last 2 years, he was our top assistant, and man, just to see how hard he works and to see how much he cares, and to see this happen for him is awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
The crazy thing, is Billy D. Like, he only had 6 weeks to put together his whole roster.
Oh my goodness!
So I think when he has some time to really put together a team, over a whole recruiting period, I think they're going to be elite. Shoot, I think they already are elite. They have a chance to go make a very deep run right now.
They definitely do. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you giving us a few minutes. I can't wait for Friday and Saturday. And, I wonder who I'm going to see in Kansas City. I mean, I might see you again.
Hey, let's let's hold our breath on that. We'd love to see you in the in the lobby of the Crown Plaza.
There you go.
That would be good stuff.
Well, Coach, thanks again for giving us some time, and good luck on Friday, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, yes, sir. Take care.
That's Chris Wright. He's the head men's basketball coach, Langston Lions. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Billy D.
Hey, thanks a lot to Coach Chris Wright. Really appreciate the time, especially this time of year. I mean, as they're getting ready for, that first round, and then also thank you to Langston University. So I appreciate that time very much. Well, that's what I have today. Don't forget to check out the schedule. If you don't know where it is, just go to NAIA.org. Go to men's basketball. Down in the little tournament blue box, you can find first and second round schedules. If you're not sure where the link is, you can always go to our Substack with just Cascade Hoops Talk Substack. Go to our latest versions. We put the show out on it every day, so it's not hard to find, but we've been posting the link to that as well. So check that out. Again, make out your schedule. If you can get to these games, get to them. Buy your tickets early. These sites sell out. It's NAIA basketball, so it ain't going to break you because it is the best entertainment value in America. But get to these games, and we'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. As I'm recording this, we're still working on a show for tomorrow. But regardless, nevertheless, make sure you check out the games this weekend, and hopefully I'll see you in Kansas City. That's all I got. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.